Hi, I'm Mary. I'm a Pathways yoga teacher, and today we're going to do a gentle chair class. I'm going to be working a lot with posture and breathing. Those are both things that people have challenges with. And then also, it's going to be a chair class. People think chair classes are just for the elderly, people that can't move very well. Well, they're really for everybody. Everybody needs movement. Sometimes you don't have the option of getting down on the floor and doing the major movements that you see in yoga. So these are simple movements that you can use, whether you're on a plane, if you're in a meeting, or after a meeting or something, you're sitting at a desk, kids in school, can use some gentle movements to limber up. Posture is so important. There's the nerd head, the eye posture, shoulders are rolling forward. So try and be aware of your posture. When you're leaning forward like that, when your head is going forward, you're getting extra weight, gravitational forces pushing on your back. If your neck, people complain of neck aches and back aches. Well, a lot of times it's just your posture that is the culprit behind it. So try and be aware of your posture, standing up straight. Even just for a little bit, allow these muscles to stretch out in the front of your body, going across your shoulders and all. Be aware of that and eliminate some of the discomfort that comes from having that forward bent head. Okay, standing nice and tall, breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Legs are squeezed together, tighten your buttocks, squeeze your navel in towards your spine. Bring your attention to the base of your spine and then feel lift moving up from the base of your spine, lifting up to your waist, up to your ribs, up to your shoulders. Lift your shoulders up, roll them back and down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Breathe in and out, nice deep breaths. Bring your attention to the nape of your neck. Push your chin back towards an imaginary wall. Lift up through the top of your head. So normally the head is forward. Push it back. As your head goes back, you can feel your chest pushing forward, your shoulder blades squeezing together, and then lift upward. That's good posture. Okay, and then maintaining your posture, sit down. And one of the things, we're doing a chair class, and a lot of times people think, well, I don't want to do a chair class because that's for the elderly. And I'm not elderly. It doesn't matter what age you are, people think that. But chair yoga is for anybody. It's something if you don't want to get down on the ground. If you're in an office building, or maybe you might be traveling on a plane, you might not be able to get up and, who wants to lay on the ground. So if you're sitting there, you can modify the chair movements. Pathways Yoga is a deconstruction of yoga asanas. We're working with correctives and conditioners. And we want to help you find out more about your body. We're working with body awareness. So you can become aware of your body, what's working and what's not working, where there's the problem, where's that click, what's going on, how is one side the same as the other. So we're going to be looking at that as we go through. Okay, so for chair yoga, I'm going to take my shoes off so that we can have the full mobility of our feet. So start out by sitting towards the front of your chair and sit nice and tall. Lift up through the top of your head. Lengthen your spine. Just like you did when you're standing up. Feel that upward stretch. Lengthen your spine. Let your hands go down by your side. As you inhale, stretch your fingers out as wide as they go. Give them a good stretch, and then allow your hands to relax. As you inhale, your body strengthens. As you exhale, your body relaxes. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling and exhaling. As you inhale, feel your body strengthen. And then exhale, feel your body relax. Your breath helps your body relax. Your heartbeat and your breath are linked. So your body is communicating with itself through breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling Exhaling, let your hands relax. And then turn your hands palms out. Feel that rotation in your shoulders, feel that stretch across your chest as you rotate your shoulders out. Hands are by your side, and then start raising them upward. Inhaling up. Your hands are up over your head. Stretch up towards the ceiling. Feel your ribs lifted up. Keep your ribs lifted up, and then let your hands come down. Hands come down to your sides. Turn your hands palms out, and then inhaling up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and stretch. Turn your hands palms down, lowering to that 6 count. Inhaling up. And stretch. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Feel your lungs opening, your ribs lifting. Exhaling down. Feel your ribs settling down and compressing. As you're breathing, we have a tendency to work with shallow breaths most of the time, just breathing in enough air to keep us going. Ideally, you breathe in, always try and breathe in through your nose because that filters your air. It also warms or cools your breath depending on the temperature outside. So when you breathe in, filtering the air, it goes down in through your nasal passages, down into your lungs. Most of the time, it's just to the upper lobes of your lungs. We have upper, middle, and lower lobes of your lungs. The diaphragm is down here where your ribs are, just above the ribs, and then there's the diaphragm that goes at the base of your ribs. So you breathe in upper, middle, and lower lobes of your lungs. When you breathe in that nice deep breath, you feel your stomach pushing out, pushing down on your diaphragm. It pushes your stomach out and your abdomen out. And then when you exhale, your diaphragm gets pushed up by your stomach and your breath goes out. Feel that movement. It's an important movement. It gives your body an internal massage. It helps massage your intestines and helps your stomach work. So there's a lot of benefit to breathing in nice deep breaths. And nowadays we're dealing with this pandemic, so it attacks your lungs. So you want to take care of your lungs. You want to breathe in as much as you can, strengthen your lungs. Okay, and as we're doing these movements, be aware of your lungs. Bring your arms forward, stretch up towards the ceiling, and then arch back. Bring your arms back as far as they can go, roll your shoulders back, look up, and then bring your hands down. Hands come down by your side, and then push back. Bring your arms back as far as they can go. Then inhaling, coming back up, stretch up, and arch back. Exhaling down, and then pushing out behind you, roll your shoulder blades together. Inhaling up, arching back, feel that stretch in these front muscles. All the muscles in the front of your body are stretching out. As you're going back, you're working your shoulder muscles, the rotator cuffs. Inhaling up, arching back, exhaling down, push out behind you, then bring your hands forward, palms are together. Palms are together. We're going to do the swan dive. Okay, you've seen that possibly in diving exhibits. So come forward, stretching forward, leaning forward, extending forward as far as you can go. Then start separating your hands and sitting up tall. Arms go out to the side. Bring your arms back as far as they can go. Look up towards the ceiling. Beautiful swan dive. Then bring your hands together. And then extend forward, stretching forward. Inhaling, arching back. Feel your chest open. Inhale. Hands are coming forward, compressing your lungs, empty them. And as you lean forward, feel that pressure in your lungs, so empty them. Inhaling, your lungs are opening, fill them up, nice deep breath, breathing in through your nose. Then exhaling, stretching forward, breathing in, arching back, and exhale. Inhaling, arching back, hands come together, stretch forward, Inhaling, arching back. Hands come together, stretch forward. Inhaling, arching back, together. Let your hands relax, lift your shoulders up, roll them back and down. How you doing? Okay, and just notice how your body feels. When you were arching back, you were stretching out all of these muscles. You lean back and get that nice stretch. If you're having a tendency to have that nerd head or just leaning forward, your shoulders are rounding out. Some people have the problem with the Dowager hump, that rounded out in the shoulders. If your shoulders are going forward, you want to try and push them back. As your shoulders go back, you want to stretch out these muscles in the front and the muscles across. So these exercises are really good for that. Good for your lungs too, now with this whole thing with the lung situation. Okay, the next one that we're going to do, if you're going to be out doing any yard work or shoveling or raking or something like that, it's a good one to use as a warm-up or a cool down after you've been out working. We have a tendency to work our arms down here quite a bit. We're carrying groceries or doing different activities. We don't use our arms up here, keeping your elbows shoulder height. So what I'd like you to do is make two fists, keep your elbows shoulder height. This is a little bit of a brain teaser too. Okay, so you're up at center. Exhale your left arm out, straight out, and then bring it back in. And then you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Elbows go back, then come back to center. And then your right arm goes out, back to center, back, center, out, center, back, center, out, center. Got that? Tricky part is remembering to squeeze your shoulder blades together. So now we're going to work with the breath too. Add the breath. So it's exhale out, inhale to center, exhale back, inhale to center. Exhale out, center, back, center, out, center, back, center. Exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Last left, center back, center, last right, center back, center. Can you feel it in your arms? Let your hands relax, keep the fists. Arms are by your side, raise your shoulders up towards your ears, tense your arms and shoulders as tight as they can be. And then exhale and then relax. Keep your fist, but raise your shoulders up, tensing all those muscles, and then exhale, relax. Tense, and release. Tense and release. Tense and release. Tense and release. Tense and release. Last one, tense. Release, relax your hands, let your fingers hang loose. Then lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Roll them back and down and forward. So you're getting that nice shoulder circle, inhaling up, back, down, and forward. And stretch as far forward as you can. Lift your shoulder up as high as it can go, and then back, and then down. As you're doing that, feel your body. As your arm is going, shoulders going forward, feel that stretch across your back. When it's lifting up, can you feel a lift coming up from your hip? When you're going back, you feel that stretch across your shoulder. And when you're down, you feel that stretch in your neck. Be aware of your body as you're moving. It's just not the muscles that you're using in your arms or the main part that you're moving. Feel where things are connected. Be aware of that. Body awareness, inhaling up and back, exhaling down and forward, great big shoulder circles. If your body was tense by doing the out center, back center one, this helps release them. Okay, you're sitting here nice and tall. We worked I told you about posture. I told you we worked the shoulders and that. We worked a little bit on breath. There's a breathing pattern that you just heard me using. It's called the ha breath. It's a diaphragmatic breath, so you breathe in a nice deep breath and your stomach extends, and then you push that breath out, And as you're breathing the exhalation, you let your tongue rest against the back of your lower teeth. You open your mouth, let your jaw drop down, let it relax. Tongue is against the back of your lower teeth, and you exhale, emptying the lungs. And then breathe in through your nose, and exhale. This is a dynamic breath. It gives you more power. It revs up your metabolism. It's really good for you. So try and add that to get more benefit from the movements that you're doing. So now I'd like to work with legs. They have a tendency to get stiff. So as you're sitting here, I'm going to just turn sideways a little bit so you can see better. Okay. So as you're sitting here, what I'd like you to do is raise your left leg out, straighten your knee. Knee is straight, ankle is straight. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, push out with your heel. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, push out with the heel. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, pushing out with the heel. Feel that stretch in the back of your leg. Your Achilles tendon, your hamstring. And your quads have a tendency to tighten up. They have to hold your leg up there. So notice if you're feeling the tension there. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, push out with the heel. Working with your breath, inhale through your nose, and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Feeling that stretch. These movements can actually be done if you're lying down. You can do them lying on the floor. I do them in my mat classes. If you can't get down on the floor, you might be able to lie on your bed, or there's some surface that you can lie on. Inhale, point your toe. Exhale, push out with your heel. Inhaling and exhaling. Finish that one and change legs. If you do it to one side, you do it to the other side. So inhale, point your toe. Exhale, push out with your heel. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Notice how this leg feels compared to the other leg. Inhale and exhale. Point your toe, push out with your heel. Point your toe, push out with your heel. Point your toe, push out with your heel. Inhale and exhale. Comparing one leg and the other, your knee is straight. This way you get this whole stretch. Hamstrings have a tendency to be tight. Tight hamstrings pull on your lower back. They contribute to lower back pain. They limit your mobility. So you want to stretch them out. And most people have tight hamstrings. Just think about all the time that you're sitting. You're sitting when you're in the car, you're sitting when you're watching TV, if you're in a meeting, if you're dining, most of the time you're sitting. And if you're sitting on the floor with your legs crossed, your hamstrings are still tight. There's so much of our lives we have the tight hamstrings. We're encouraging them to tighten up. So this is a good one just to start warming it up. You can do this lying in bed. Before you get out of bed in the morning, use this to limber up. Finish the one that you're on. Moving on to the next one. This one's a little bit more active, so I'm holding on to the chair. Keep your right foot on the floor. Bring your left knee up to your chest. Then straighten your leg with your toe pointed. Push out with the heel and lower your leg down, all the way down with your knee straight. Then bend your knee, bring your knee up, out, push out with the heel. Notice how the hamstring is being stretched. Inhaling up, out, push out with the heel and down. Tighten up your stomach muscles, work those core muscles. Protect your back. Inhaling up, out, push out with the heel and down. Inhaling up, out, push out with the heel and down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale up, out, push out with the heel and down. Inhaling up, out, push out with the heel and down. Up, out, push out with the heel and down. Last one, up, out, push out with the heel and down. Bend your leg, foot on the floor. These are harder in the chair than they are lying down on the mat or lying on your bed. So people that think that chair classes are easy, not necessarily the most easy way to do things. Okay, so changing legs. Right leg goes up, stretch it out, push out with the heel and down. Inhaling up, out, push out with the heel and down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhale, pushing out with the heel. Your body strengthens as you inhale, tells the muscles to relax as you're exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Tighten up those core muscles. Being aware of how one side feels compared to the other. Are you feeling up in your hip, in your quads, back of your leg, in your ankle, your toes? Last one, up, out, push out with the heel and down. Feet are on the mat or on the floor. Sitting up nice and tall. Work with your posture. Be aware of your posture. It's so important. Okay, so your feet are on the floor. I'm going to do the one that I call stilettos, flats, and earth shoes. The different heights of heels on a shoe theme here. Okay, so your feet are on the floor, so that's like wearing flats. Most of us are wearing flats nowadays. But I'd like you to go up onto your metatarsal, lifting your heels up as high as you can. Feel that stretch in the top of your ankle. As you push your ankle forward, your heel goes forward, your ankle stretches, the top of your ankle stretches out. Then lower your heels down, back to flats. Then lift your toes up and rock onto your heel. Feel that stretch. And then down to flats, up into stilettos, a nice tall pair of heels. Ladies know about wearing high heels. Guys can think about a tall pair of cowboy boots. Up and rolling down. And then back in the 70s, they had earth shoes. They were a negative heel shoe. So your shoe was designed so that your heel was lower than your toes. So I'm using that as a reference. Or a treadle sewing machine. But on a treadle sewing machine, you don't go get that bend where your metatarsal bends and your toes are stretched out, the bottom part of your toes are stretched out, having the weight on them, and then going back and forth. So getting that stretch, that movement. I've been thinking about this, and it's also like a rocking chair. If you're in a rocking chair, you're rocking back and forth. Similar movement, whatever it takes to remind you about it. But notice as you're doing this, how you're working these muscles. These are your mobility muscles. The leg pumping that we just did prior to this, that helps you get up and down off of chairs, climb stairs, walking. This too, you're working your shin, you're working your calf, you're working your quads. So as you're doing, just being aware of the movement, feel that stretch and release. And after you do it a while, notice if there's some area that's feeling tight. After doing this as a dedicated movement for a minute or two, you might feel, oh, my calves are getting tight, or my shin, oh, I didn't know I had a shin muscle. But they're in there, and there's ways of finding them. Easy ways of finding them. This isn't a challenging movement, but it's working a lot on our mobility. If you're just sitting there watching TV, you can be doing this. As winter's coming, and who knows what's going on with this pandemic, we might be stuck indoors, so this is something to do. If you're just sitting, holidays are coming up, if you're sitting at the table with a lot of people and the conversation goes on for hours like it does sometimes, you can be sitting there, you can be exercising, in addition to having the conversations. Okay, finish that one. You're sitting with your legs comfortable distance apart, and then squeeze your thighs in towards each other. Squeeze them in as tight as you can, using your leg muscles. I'm talking with my hands, but squeeze your legs in and then allow them to relax. Squeeze your legs in and relax. Squeeze them in as tight as you can. Work those inner and outer thighs. As I'm doing this, I can feel it in my core. And then release when you need to. Then squeeze them in and release. Squeezing in and release. Feel the connection, the insertion points around your knees, maybe up in your hip. Notice where you're feeling it, body awareness. Day to day, your body may feel it in different places. So just keep track of it. Squeezing in and releasing, squeezing in and releasing. And then finish that one. Keep your toes on the floor, lift your heels up, move your heels over to one side, lift your toes up, move your toes over. Go over as far as you can. And then work your way back, and then go to the other side, going over as far as you can. And as you're doing this, notice all the joints that are moving. If it's going to be slippery outside, you want to make sure your ankles are limber, your knees are limber. If your body's able to adjust to the movements, that may be a sudden movement, there's less chance of things snapping and tearing and straining. So loosen them up. Going from side to side. Notice where you're feeling it. And of course, you're still sitting up straight. Working on your posture. And you're breathing, nice deep breaths. Feel your chest expand and contract. Try and avoid those shallow little breaths. Nice full breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, and then bring your legs back to center. Sitting up nice and tall. And then stretch up towards the ceiling. Stretching up, lift your ribs up nice and high. Keep your ribs lifted high, bring your hands forward. Make a fist with your left hand, but keep your thumb up, hold onto your thumb. Arms are parallel to the floor. Stretch forward, lean forward. Feel that stretch in your back. As you're doing this, notice each movement, and then start moving your arms over to the left. See if I knock things off the table. Going over as far as you can, feel that stretch coming up from your hip, then lean back, but don't rest in the chair. Bring your arms across, over to the right, stretching forward, inhaling, and then exhaling as you're going forward. And I'm sitting towards the front of my chair so I can lean back. Inhaling as I'm going back, and as I'm exhaling, you can see how my lungs are being compressed as I'm leaning forward and stretching forward. Then as I'm going back, my shoulders are going back, my lungs are opening, fill them up. And come around to the other side. Great big circle. Inhaling and exhaling. And then come back to center, let your hands relax. Lift your shoulders up, back, and down. Notice how your shoulders feel. We did it to one side, so we have to do it to the other side. So this time your right thumb goes up. Hold on to your right thumb. And then stretch forward, extend forward. Arms go over to the right and back and around. Inhaling, nice deep breath. And then exhaling as you go around. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Does it feel the same as you go on this side? Does it feel the same on this side as the other side? Try and get those words out. Inhaling and exhaling. Come back to center. Let your arms relax. Sitting nice and tall. Okay. Now raise your arms up towards the ceiling, stretching up. Bend forward, extend forward, make two fists. Elbows are by your side. Bend your elbows, hug your ribs with your elbows, and then sit up nice and tall. Sitting nice and tall, lean back, feel your stomach muscles, your core muscles, leaning back. I'm not resting in the chair. Stretch up, exhale forward, inhale, sit tall, lean back, stretch up, exhale forward, inhale, sit tall, lean back, stretch up, exhale forward, inhale, sit tall, exhale, lean back, inhale, stretch up, exhale forward, inhale, sit tall, lean back, stretch up, exhale forward, inhale, sit tall, lean back, stretch up, exhale forward, inhale, sit tall, lean back, stretch up. Hands down to your legs and sit tall. Breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Feel the rhythm of your heart and the rhythm of your breath. Put your hands on your chest, you can feel your heart thumping away. As I was doing it, you notice how I changed the rhythm of my breath. At one point, I sped it up. Your heartbeat and your breath are linked. If you're breathing rapidly, your heart is going rapidly. If you slow your breathing down, your heartbeat will slow down. If you can't control anything else, you can control your breath. I had one student, I had taught her the 4-4 breath, inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling and exhaling using that 4 count. We use it when we're doing the leg pumping, inhaling up to a count of 4 and exhaling down to a count of 4. I told her about that, and I had explained to her that, or to the class, that when you're, you can control your breathing can control your heartbeat, and your heartbeat can control your breath. So back a while ago, she had a heart attack, and she was having the heart attack, and the EMTs came in, and they started asking her questions, and she says, "Don't bother me, I'm doing my yoga breathing." And then they took her off to the hospital. I didn't see her for a couple of months. And then when she came back, she said, "Mary, you saved my life." I said, "What did I do? I wasn't there." She said, "You taught me to breathe." So she used this breathing pattern, the 4-4 breath, to stabilize her heartbeat. And because her heartbeat was stable, she was able to go through the process a little bit easier. And the doctors had an easier time helping her out with it. And she felt so firmly that that helped save her life at that point in time. So, I don't know whether it did or not, but just passing it on, that's her words of wisdom. Okay, now my breathing pattern is slowed down a little bit because I'm quieting down, I'm not moving fast. I'd like to do the Pathways Moon series with you. It's a sequence that my teacher put together, and because she knew that there's a sun salutation in yoga that's a very vigorous activity. And most people can't do it, it's challenging. You have to be physically fit to be able to do that. And you get down on the ground and you do that. So she wanted something to do in the chair for everybody. Okay, so she decided to create this movement, and it moves your body in all different directions. It loosens things up. It's great, you can do it sitting on the floor, you can sitting in the chair, standing. I've even taught it in aqua yoga classes. Okay, so the basics are, well, let's start going through it, and I'll stop at different points to point out different things. Start out with your hands by your side. You're sitting up nice and tall. Come up. Start by bringing your hands in prayer position. Lower your hands down. Okay, with your hands together, your shoulders are relaxed, your elbows are going out to the side. Try and put the palms of your hands together. Sometimes people just get the tips of their fingers together, but try and push the palms of your hands together. And notice what you're feeling in your arms. If you've been doing a lot of typing, working at the computer, this may be challenging. If you have a problem with carpal tunnel. Okay, so sitting here nice and tall, breathing in and out. We're going to use the Ha breath as we do the Moon series. That's the one where you breathe in through your nose, fill up your lungs, and then open your mouth, let your jaw drop down. Your tongue is against the back of your lower teeth, and you exhale. Breathing in through your nose, exhaling. Inhale and exhale, and then raise your arms up, stretch up towards the ceiling, arms are up over your head, and then arch back. In yoga, if you go in one direction, you have to go in the other direction. So come forward, let your hands go down to your legs, hands are resting on your legs, and slide your hands down towards your toes. Forward bend. Feel that stretch coming up from your back. And then come back up. Back to center, arms are up over your head. Keep your right hand up towards the ceiling, and rotate your shoulder back. A lot of times I see arms going forward and people are going over to the side that way. Ideally, your arm is up, your head is straight up, sitting up nice and tall, your arm is right alongside your ear. Rotate your shoulder back, that helps. Hold on to the side of your chair, or put your hand on the floor if you're doing it on the floor, and then lean to that side. Feel the stretch coming up from your hip. And then come back to center. You did one side, so you do the other side. Come back to center. We'll change hands. And then stretch, and then lean over. Then come back up. And then arms go out to the side. Now we're going to do a twist. Okay, for the twist, bring your left hand around behind you and your right hand on your left thigh, palm facing out. If you have your hand turned towards you, then your arm is loose. If you turn your hand palm out, then you have the strong area where you can push into it. Your elbow is straight, so it gives you a little leverage, okay? So your hand is there, the other hand is behind there. This is moving your ribs around, twisting your ribs around. So as I bring my hand around behind me, notice how my shoulder gets pulled back. My right hand goes to my left thigh, push into the thigh. Notice how my ribs are moving around, and then I look over my shoulder, getting that nice twist. Your spine is like a spiral staircase, and allow yourself to come back to center. And then your right hand goes behind you, left hand on your thigh, and pull your ribs around. Okay? There's two ways. Your back hand could either be resting on the chair behind you. I try and bring it back between my cheeks, right along my spine. That way it pulls my shoulder around. Or you can let your elbow rest on the back of the chair. Remember, you might remember back there was a time before we had big headrests on our cars, we used to put your elbow on the back of the chair, hand on the steering wheel, and pull yourself around to see if anybody was coming. Now we have cameras and high backs on the chairs, but you can do this if that's the way you remember it. Okay, so then come back to center, then stretch up, twist to the left, hands go down to your left leg, and slide down the outside of your leg going down, and then come back up. Now we do the other side. Twist, slide down, and then come back. And that's one round. Okay, but now we're going to do it without all the stops in between the explanations. Okay, so gather your energy, palms are down to the palms are together, hands are in your chest, breathe in and out, nice deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathe in, raise your hands up, separate your hands and arch back. Come back to center, hands go down to your legs, slide down towards your toes. Inhaling up, right hand up, hold on to the side of your chair. Lean on that arm as you go over to the side. Come back up. Other side, exhaling over, inhaling up. Arms out, left hand goes around behind you, right hand on your thigh, pull your ribs around, look over your shoulder. Come back to center. Other side, right hand behind you, left hand on your thigh, pull your ribs around. Come back to center, stretch up, twist to the left, hands go down your left leg, sliding down. Inhaling up, over to the right, exhaling down, inhaling up. Repeat, arch back. Forward bend. Inhale up, right hand up, left hand hold on, go to the side, back up. Hand is there supporting you as you go over to the side, come back up, arms are out to the side, twist, left hand around behind you, right hand on your thigh, pull your ribs around. Notice if you can see further each time you do this. Come back and twist. Come back to center, stretch up towards the ceiling, and then down to the left. Inhaling up, over to the right, exhaling down. Inhale up, bring your hands up and around behind you. Careful of the chair. Okay, roll your shoulder blades together, push your chest out. Squeezing your shoulder blades together, feel your chest opening. Then lift your head, look up towards the ceiling. Breathe in and out, nice deep breaths, using the nasal breathing, breathing in, and then the ha breath out. Release your hands down to your chest, breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Feel your chest expand and contract. Feel the rhythm of your heart, rhythm of your breath. And see how it compares to when you started. And then let your hands relax. Okay. Then let your hands rest on your knees. Keep your elbows straight. Push your ribs as far forward as you can. Roll your shoulders back. Look up towards the ceiling. Feel your tailbone lifting up. Come back to center. Then squeeze your navel in towards your spine, allowing your back to round out. Let your shoulders roll forward and let your head hang forward. Pushing your back away from you as far as you can. Feel your tailbone tucking under. Coming back to center. Inhaling as your chest goes out. Nice deep breath in. Back to center. Squeeze your navel in towards your spine. Exhaling. Get that nice stretch. Inhaling. And exhaling. And come back to center, sitting nice and tall. Noticing how your body feels. That's a really good one if you have a tired lower back, or if your back is sore from doing different activities, or from just sitting. Just loosen up your back. Okay, and now let your elbows go down to your knees. Lower your chest down towards your thighs and bend forward. This is a modification of the child pose. As you're curled in this position, your chest is compressed. But continue breathing those nice deep breaths, doing the best that you can. Inhaling, feel your lungs expand, and then exhaling, feel your lungs emptying. Inhaling and exhaling. You're leaning forward, so your lungs are compressed, your chest is compressed. So your chest can't expand forward like it usually does. Notice where it is expanding. Can you feel it going out to the sides? Your ribs expanding out to the side. Can you feel your back being pushed up? Feel that internal massage that you're receiving. Nice deep breath in and out. Can you feel that stretch coming up from your hips, up into your lower back? Be aware of the areas that are compressed and the areas that are stretching. Then put your hands on your knees and come back up. Sitting up nice and tall. Sitting nice and tall. And as you're sitting here, I want to work with the hips a little bit. Lift one hip up, slide it back. Shift to the other side. Slide the other hip back, and walk your hips back. And then walk your hips forward. It's a lot easier if you have a smooth chair, a smooth surface. Walk yourself back and forth. Walk yourself back so that when you're sitting up, your back is resting in the chair. With your back resting in the chair, squeeze your navel in towards your spine. Not using my hands, I'm using the muscles inside, but I'm showing you pushing this area back as far as it can go, and then release. Squeeze your navel in toward your spine, and then release. This is the pelvic tilt. As you're doing this, you can feel your hips rocking back and forth. It's nice if you have a tired lower back. This really gets into the area. This is something, if you're sitting on a plane, you can do this. Nobody would even know that you're doing this. If you're in an office, like I said, if you're in a meeting, you can be doing this. If your back gets tired, if you've been sitting there for a while, you can just do the simple movement, rocking your hips back and forth. It's taking the pressure off your lower back. Okay, and then finish that one. I'd like to do a breathing exercise. This is the AUM breath. The AUM breath is fantastic. It's done some amazing things for people. It's working with 3 sounds, ah, oo, and m. Okay? So it's good to check your lung capacity. Can you hold a note if you're going to be doing any singing or talking? Just breathing. It's a way of helping you recover. So just to explain it a little bit more, I'll tell you another story about it a little bit later. So breathe in a nice deep breath. Feel your lungs open. Feel the lungs inflate, and then exhale. Going to be exhaling, ah, or ooh, working with the sound. But I'd like to feel the sound and the vibration. So as you're doing this, notice what parts of your body get involved. As you inhale, your stomach pushes out, your diaphragm pushes down, stomach pushes out, and then squeezing up. Feel the movement of your diaphragm. Be aware of the movement in your abdomen as you're breathing. But for right now, I'd like you to put your hands on your upper chest. Breathe in a nice deep breath, and exhale the ooh sound. Exhale, ooh. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an ah. Breathe in, exhale, ah. And then notice how that vibration is there. And notice how long you can carry that note. I'm looking at the clock, so then place your hands on your neck. Your pinky is under your ear. Breathe in a nice deep breath. And then exhale, ooh. Feel the vibration in your neck. The last one is my favorite one. It's one that we've probably done before. It's the sound of M. So do the M sound. Breathe in through your nose. Keep your lips together, let your mouth relax, and see what happens. Breathe in and exhale. Can you feel the tickly feeling in your mouth, in your tongue, your lips? Okay, those are the three sounds that we're going to be working. They resonate in your body in different ways. Every vowel, every consonant has a different vibration. Okay, so working with those three sounds, let's start out with a 3 count of each. 3 ahs, 3 oohs, and 3 ems. That's going to give us a breath of 9. So breathe in a nice deep breath, and exhale, ah, oh, Okay, and see how you did. If you have breath left over, you can move on. If that was challenging, work with that and see if you can get up to a 3 count and then move up to a 5 count or a 7 count, whatever works for you. Okay, so moving right along, I'm going to do the 5 count. That gives a breath of 15. So breathe in a nice deep breath and exhale. Ah, om. Okay, how did that feel? Did you still have breath left over, or did you run out? If you run out of breath, breathe in another breath and continue with the sound. That's the important thing, working with the sound and the vibration. Okay? So as you're doing this, you can work with that neutral, the alto sound, but try doing it as a bass and a soprano, doing the best that you can. My bass sound, I have to apologize in advance, okay? To see how it goes. So breathe in, 5 count again. Finish. Well, I got through that. Okay, now just do it as high as you can. So breathe in, exhale. Finish. Okay. So each sound resonates in a different way. The deeper sounds get down into your abdomen, your lower lungs. The vibration is down below. The ooh, the mid-tones, the alto sounds are more in your chest. And then the higher notes, the M sound, that's more up in your sinuses, up in your head. So if you have sinus congestion or postnasal drip or something like that, that might get things moving. If you start coughing or sneezing or something like that, feeling the movement of postnasal drip, that can happen. And then with your chest, if you have a cold or something, you might tap your chest, or you go to the doctors and they pound on your back. So when you're working with the sounds, you're creating the vibration within. It's a deeper sound, it's a subtle sound, so it might loosen some stuff up in there. So as you're working, and then the vocal cords, they get exercised. People that have lost their voices have gotten their voices back. I have one of my students that loves doing this one. She has a hiatal hernia. And what happens is that her diaphragm pulls up, her stomach pulls up into her diaphragm, and it's naturally uncomfortable. When she does this, she gets relief. If we do a couple of them in class, she gets some relief. But if she does it for about 5 minutes, we've done it in class where we've done it longer, and her diaphragm will pull down in its original spot, and she gets immediate relief. So just notice, work with the sounds. It does a lot of stuff. I had another student that fell down the stairs, went to the hospital. She had 3 ribs that were damaged, and they wanted to keep her in the hospital. And being a Yankee, she says, "I'm not staying in the hospital, I'm going home." And then they had an argument back and forth. And then finally the assistant suggested, well, do the breathing test. So there's that little test that you do. There's a little blue ball. You have to blow into the tube and see if you can keep the ball floating up there. And the doctor was surprised that she did it so well. And she said, "I go to yoga once a week, and my teacher emphasizes breathing." So she passed it. She was able to go home. She was happy. So anyway, work with it. Do the best that you can. One other student, she couldn't finish reading a bedtime story to her grandson. She did this while she was in the car. She was too shy to do it loudly in class. So she did it when she was in the car. She came back to me and she said now she can finish reading bedtime stories to her grandson. So you don't know how these things are going to be affecting you, but try working with them, practice them. So do the best that you can. So walk yourself forward on your chair, sitting forward towards the edge of your chair, so you have space between you and the back of the chair, sitting nice and tall. Breathe in and out, nice deep breaths. Lift up through the top of your head. Working with your posture, inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. As you're sitting here, notice where your sit bones are resting on the chair. Feel that foundation. Imagine yourself as a triangle. The top of your head is the top of the triangle. Each of your knees are the base. And just feel that triangle, sitting up nice and tall. Body awareness. Then imagine a swan. Swans have that beautiful long neck. So imagine that swan. Imagine yourself as a swan. Feel your neck lengthening, lifting up, looking straight ahead. Breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Feel how your spine lengthens. Feel those back muscles engage. Breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Sitting nice and tall. And you're sitting nice and tall. And then shift your weight slightly to the left. And then slightly to the right, pushing your right hip bone down. And then to the left, so you're rocking back and forth. Being aware of your sit points, the sit bones. How you're putting weight on one side, coming back to center, and over to the other side. Exhaling over, inhaling up, and exhaling over, inhale up. Last one to the right, come back to center, and then shift your weight forward, and then shift your weight back. Forward and back. Noticing your foundation, noticing the movement of your hips, your relationship to your hip bones, to those sits bones. Can you feel them as you're moving? Feel the pressure shifting on one, shifting back, and shifting forward. And then come back to center. And just notice if it feels any different. You're still sitting up nice and tall, like a swan, a graceful, elegant swan. Okay, breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Imagine that there's a piece of chalk on the top of your head. And then make small counterclockwise circles, moving from your hips, going back and around. Being aware of the area that you're sitting on. Can you feel the foundation, your sits bones? How you're working, pivoting around those sits bones. Weights on one, going forward, around to the other. And you can make the circle a little bit larger. Being aware of that foundation and change directions. Moving from your hips. Going round and round. Feel the weight going on one hip, one bone, shifting forward over to the other bone and then back, making that big circle. And then making smaller and smaller and come back to center. And when you get back to center, notice if you feel more grounded. Can you feel your center? It seems like there's more energy, more focus on this part of my body. Out here it's more of the peripheral. So you're sitting here nice and tall, and then let your head hang forward, moving from your neck. Lower your left ear down towards your shoulder, left shoulder, and then roll it back. And make neck circles. Inhaling up and back, exhaling down and forward. Great big neck circles. Inhaling and exhaling. And then change directions. Inhaling and exhaling. Great big circles, moving from your neck, working with your breath. And then allow yourself to come back to center, keeping your eyes closed, breathing in and out, and just feel your body. Sitting nice and tall, feel your back muscles elongating, breathing in and out, nice deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose, feel the coolness of your inhalation. Follow that breath as it goes down through your nasal passages, down into your chest. At some point your breath seems to disappear. As it moves into your body, it warms to body temperature and seems to disappear. But you can still feel the movement because of your lungs expanding as the air goes into your lungs. Feel your body pushing that breath up and out. Inhaling and exhaling, being aware of your breath. Follow that coolness down, noticing when it disappears. Feel your lungs expand, stomach pushing down. Feel your body pushing that breath up and out. One breath after another. Sitting tall, breathing nice deep breaths. Working your lungs, strengthening your lungs, appreciating your lungs. Being grateful for each and every breath. Right now there are so many people that their breath is being challenged. Appreciate, be thankful for the breath that comes so freely to you. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice deep breaths. Om Araham, Om Araham, Om Araham, Om. 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 Namo Arihantanam. Om Shante Om. Namo Arihantanam. Om Shante Om. Om Shante Om Shante Om Shante Om. Om Shante Om Shante Om Shante Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. You stand in the center of your own inner peace, where nothing can harm you. May that peace help you travel through your week consciously, with a calm mind, a kind heart, and a healthy body. And return next time still in peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. And then allow your head to rock from side to side. Wiggle your fingers. Allow yourself to come back to your center, come back to your body. If you're with others, allow them to come back at their own pace, you at yours. Have a great week. And thanks for joining me. Namaste. Namaste means the higher part of me bows to the higher part of you. The highest of me honors the highest of you. Nowadays, we're social distancing, not touching. It might be a way of saying hello to somebody, or just a nod of the head. Namaste. It's an Indian greeting. But if you think about the society back before we had all these modern conveniences and clean running water and things like that, how people took care of themselves, tried to avoid diseases. So be well, be happy, remember to smile, remember to breathe, and be aware of your posture too. Okay, so thanks. Bye-bye.